And it's that time of year again. Mercury goes retrograde in close proximity to Uranus on Friday, April 21st, bringing sudden breakthroughs and developments that take us by surprise and call us to stand still and then move backwards and rethink something. Let's take a closer look and break it down for all 12 signs. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western tropical astrologer that's specializing in natal and relationship astrology, as well as predictive astrology. I work with clients. I film YouTube videos for you. If you'd like to work with me, check out the link down below. You can use the code Eclipse Season 2023 to get 20% off your reading for a limited time until May 10th. If you have any questions, you can also reach out to me and find me on Instagram at anastasiadoesastrology.com or TikTok. Before we dive in, I wanted to share with you that as Mercury retrograde is approaching, you will greatly benefit from getting my Mercury in Virgo candle. It has a strong Mercury. It's highlighted here. It smells like grass, so has like a very light, pleasant scent and can help you get through the more challenging, tech glitchy times. It kind of has this power to focus your mind. As well as if you're looking for any help with the eclipse energy, I have the beautiful Moon in Cancer candle or Moonlit Trinity that can help kind of soothe you and relax you. And you know, the smell of this one, I can write poems about it because it smells like strawberries and cream. So, the retrograde begins on April 21st and lasts until May 14th. It happens between approximately 5 degrees Taurus and 15 degrees Taurus. So if you have placements in Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Leo between 5 and 15 degrees, you will likely be rethinking topics that are connected to those planets. For example, if you have Venus at 10 degrees Taurus, Mercury goes over it, retrogrades over it, and then moves over it again, making you question topics connected to love, beauty, desire, the things you desire, the things you find interesting. We will get Mercury Cazimi on May 1st, so that tends to be a more of a turning point where things become more clear, some answers might be coming your way, and an overall sense of confusion can lighten up around this time. The station on April 21st happens right next to Uranus. It's not exact. It's about 2 degrees away from Uranus, but it's still in very close proximity. And Mercury and Uranus together, Uranus tends to electrify Mercury. Mercury is already connected to our mind, our thinking, rules transportation, communication, travel, all of the sales. So Uranus comes in and Uranus shakes things up and brings insights and can bring revelations, right? So here we potentially can experience a sense of shakeup, like something shakes us up. We discover something new, you know, on a collective level. There could be a news breaking down that affects a lot of us, like something Taurian connected to food, resources, finances, that kind of makes people, and you know, on a personal level, this could be also connected to those things, but in a more small context, like something happens with your place of living, your job, your money that makes you pause momentarily, because that's what station is. April 21st, Mercury goes retrograde, but it means that initially the energy is very kind of standing still, looking at things, kind of thinking deeply about this one thing on your mind. So something dramatic. And let's not forget that Mercury stations the day after the eclipse, right? So the drama is in the air. The drama is highlighted by the eclipse already. So something dramatic that happens that takes you by surprise and makes you look back, redo, review, rethink. The moon is conjunct Mercury when it stations retrograde, so that could have a supportive effect, which is lovely. And until May 7th, Mercury actually is in mutual reception with Venus, meaning Mercury is in Taurus. Taurus is ruled by Venus. Venus is in Gemini. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So they're hanging out in each other's sign and hopefully providing us with ideas and insights about how to make things work. So I think this could be helpful for self-understanding. The usual Mercury retrograde rules apply. Make sure you retrograde proof your apartment, get the batteries, get the light bulbs, get the tape. I don't know why, but you never know, you can run out of tape. Allow extra time, especially around the station. Like, make sure that you have plenty of time. Don't leave your house in the last minute. Build extra time into your schedule. Figure out a backup route of how to get somewhere, right? Don't just rely on the old trusted way. This could be very much like you take the same path to work every day, but it gets closed because the president is in town, something like that. Be careful who you're sending texts to. Be careful signing contracts. I would never advise that you like don't sign anything and like just hide out. It's Mercury retrograde, or any retrograde is like just a red light. It's the time when you can still cross the street, but you need to look around extra carefully, right? So it's the time in which we need to be more thoughtful, more introspective, more kind of clear about what we want. And a lot of times things we want get presented to us in a new light. And a lot of times the things we want are also things we already know about, but we really need to look back to understand it better. So I'm kind of curious, I'm curious how this Mercury retrograde will affect me and all of you, of course, because like I've been questioning my content strategy and kind of, I did these like fun skits for a bit and those were great, but there's not a lot of time for them. So a lot of kind of me questioning things. If you like some of my content more than other and you'd like to share some of your ideas, I'd love them. So yeah, so be mindful, be careful, double check, triple check, review things, and do not rush. And now let's take a look at all 12 signs to see where this energy will be most visible for you. I'm looking at the rising signs. You can also listen for your sun and the moon, but rising sign tends to be more accurate, pretty much because it's the starting point of the chart and it determines where the rest of your transits fall down. So if you are an Aries rising, Mercury goes retrograde in your second house. Second house deals with your values and finances. So there might be a sense that things that are important to you are changing. And with them, you are rethinking how you are applying your finances, what you're spending on. Maybe you're kind of streamlining, cutting down, trying to find some resources to save for something big. Mercury retrograde can be the time when things you've forgotten come up and require a payment. Oftentimes it's very literal where like, you get a payment for something, then you need to spend it for something else, and then maybe you try to make money back. So your finances tend to be a lot more kind of fluid, and I wouldn't recommend making major purchases at this time because chances of needing to like fix something, redo something are quite high. And ask yourself, what do you truly value in life? What do you value in relationships? What do you value in your job? And how can you make changes? How can you make improvements to that part of your life? Talk to a financial advisor if you need help as well. If you are a Taurus rising, Mercury goes retrograde in your first house. And first house is all about your look, your physical body, your status in the world, your self-definition. So here you're questioning a lot of things. And this could be very much questioning your appearance, where you're looking at your healthcare. Maybe it's literally your, healthcare isn't your insurance, but also maybe like your diet, things you eat, things you put in your body, things you listen to, and you're kind of feeling ready to change. Your style might be undergoing a change. I remember Mercury in the first house made me like really conscious about my skincare routine, and I did a lot of work trying to understand what I want to change. So definitely transformations in your physical body could be important. Don't rush to cut all of your hair if you have really long hair during the retrograde. Instead, ruminate, make a plan, and maybe do it once Mercury goes direct. As well as first house represents your career, your aspirations, and like I said, the way you define yourself. So something in that realm can also be changing, where you are rethinking what you want in life and who you want to be. Take a look back perhaps at what once inspired you in order to get a better understanding. If you are a Gemini rising, Mercury retrogrades in your 12th house. So here you're looking at your blind spot and you're kind of getting an understanding that maybe something is bothering you, that maybe there is some kind of self-defeating tendency you have that you need to release. That could be a self-defeating bad habit. That could be a person from your past that you're checking on social media. That could be a self-defeating tendency of checking Instagram right before bed and then getting stressed or comparing yourself to others. So you're addressing these self-undoing patterns and behaviors. As well as if you feel like lost or confused, you may find a lot of support in starting therapy or starting a spiritual practice and like rethinking how you talk to yourself, rethinking how aligned or connected with yourself you are. There might also be something hidden within your psyche that requires integrating, and that could be a gift, a talent, a hobby that you've been pushing down and not exploring. So those are the main two ways I think this can manifest. If you are a Cancer rising, Mercury goes retrograde in your 11th house and you are rethinking your dreams and your place in the world and your view of the future, right? If you are a Cancer rising, you just had an eclipse in your house of career, in your house of status and reputation. So perhaps it's the moment in which you are no longer quite sure about what excites you. And that could be tied in with friendships as well, where you need to take a look at your people that you surround yourself with. Are they still supportive of you? Are they aligned with the changes that you're experiencing? And if not, maybe it's time to look for new friends or kind of rethink your existing dynamics, right? Needing to have conversations with friends, perhaps meeting friends you haven't seen in a while can also be seen here. The important question, I think, is like, do people around you reflect who you are? And are your aspirations and things you're pursuing, are they true and important to you? Or are you sort of drifting in the stream, being taken by the direction that the river flows into? Because you don't have to be. Don't rush to say goodbye to friends. Don't rush to kind of cut ties if there is something frustrating going on. Instead, try to examine the situation and have some honest conversations. If you are a Leo rising, Mercury goes retrograde in your 10th house of career, status, and reputation. And chances are you are rethinking what you do for a living. Maybe you are questioning your career, questioning whether you're getting paid enough or whether you are doing the work that is enjoyable. Mercury retrograde could be a sign of looking backwards, looking at the job you once had, questioning whether you want to change some things, or even if you get a job around this time, oftentimes it's something you've applied for a while back, or it's maybe you get a job from someone you worked with a while back. There might also be an overall sense of uncertainty and not knowing how to proceed, not knowing which direction to go in. And maybe professional matters and communication with your existing boss can feel like extra frustrating. So if it does, take some time to journal and think of what you would rather do. Like ask yourself whether your job brings you joy and happiness. And if it's, it could also be connected to your status in the world. Like, are you doing things that are enjoyable and kind of creatively or passionately aligned with you, or are you just having a job that pays the bills? How can you bring more fun, maybe through hobbies, into your life? It doesn't just have to be your job. If you are a Virgo rising, Mercury retrogrades in your 9th house. The 9th house has to do with your religion, philosophy, your world views. And Mercury being retrograde here temporarily can make you question those things. It can make you wonder where do some of your beliefs come from? Are they inherently yours, or have they been adopted from hanging out with certain people? Have you considered where they come from? So you may be experiencing a bit of an ideological crisis where you don't quite know where you're meant to be, who you want to be, or where you want to go. There might literally be travels you're taking and trips you're taking that take you back to a place you once were. Certain exams may need to be redone, certain legal matters that, contracts you may have signed, you may need to kind of redo that. But the main question here, I think, is like, are you living your authentic beliefs, or are you maybe following in the footsteps of somebody else? And yeah, like matters connected to travel, education, legal matters, publishing, doing those, revisiting those, taking another look. If you are a Libra rising, Mercury is retrograding in your 8th house, and 8th house deals with your agreements with other people, with their resources they give to you. So when Mercury is retrograde here, some of the resources that were given to you can be taken away, potentially, kind of causing you to rethink, right? Like if you have a parent paying for your apartment and suddenly they can no longer do that, you need to readjust, you need to rethink how you handle finances. There might be certain bills you have to pay, certain matters connected to taxes, inheritance, debts, investments that you have to revisit. Your partner's finances can be going through a transformation, right? With 8th house representing partner's money and Mercury going retrograde here, maybe your partner is going through a significant change where their resources are transforming. There might be certain bills you forgot to pay that you have to pay. But I think overall, you're just like, this is a really important time to look at your agreements with other people and your dependencies on them. Where are you being too independent and maybe you need to let some help in, versus where are you depending or signing off your power to other people, right? Maybe you are making videos or writing for a channel, like a YouTube channel or, a newspaper magazine, and you realize that your name doesn't get to shine. So you perhaps need to have a conversation with them and revisit your agreement, or you need to venture out and start something of your own. So pay attention to that and be mindful that maybe there's also some, insurance payments and tax payments that you forgot about that you will need to make at this time. Be careful kind of making big investments as well. If you are a Scorpio rising, Mercury goes retrograde in your 7th house. Mercury retrograde in the 7th house could bring past relationship for review, very literally. Someone knocks on your door from the past, slides into your DMs, and you feel pulled towards that relationship. You're questioning it. You're wondering whether it's worth it to give it another round. Sometimes it is. Sometimes you may experience a different new beginning. Sometimes it's worth it simply for experiencing the same thing again and kind of solidifying your opinion, knowing that the first decision was right to begin with. Communication in relationships will be very highlighted, right? Do you express yourself honestly? You may experience kind of conflicts from the past, things that you thought were buried and done, coming back for another round. So like needing to discuss things, needing to renegotiate contracts, rewrite certain agreements, and just address the longevity of the relationship. Does it have potential? Is it solid? What kind of future do you see? Are you on the same page? And have those conversations. If you are a Sagittarius rising, Mercury goes retrograde in your 6th house, and 6th house represents your everyday life, your work, your health, your diet, the work you do for others in terms of kind of serving others, problem solving for others. So when Mercury is retrograding here, you will be looking at your diet and exercise and everyday life and questioning how you can streamline things. It could be a great opportunity to discard some things, to throw, papers that you no longer use out, to kind of clean your wardrobe, reorganize things. It could be the time when professional matters feel stagnant or uncertain. Your relationship with coworkers can be more challenging, calling you to have tough conversations. Professionally, you may experience a sense of uncertainty and maybe feeling pulled back to the work that you once did or the work that brought you joy. Could be a great time to question those things and ask yourself whether you're happy with your everyday life and your work life. And are you living your everyday life to the best of your ability, right? Are you taking good care of yourself, your health, or maybe you need to release a certain habit that doesn't serve you anymore. You may have to address matters connected to your pets. You may have to pay some bills that have been outstanding for a while, and maybe redo something at work that is laborious. Is that a word? I think it is. But yeah, redoing some kind of project, rewriting some kind of project is also likely here. If you are a Capricorn rising, Mercury goes retrograde in your 5th house. This is another placement together with Scorpio rising where someone from the past can be coming into your life. 5th house represents sex and kind of relationships that are more fling-like, not necessarily long-term commitment. So needing to look at the past relationship and ask some questions could be important here. Be careful, of course, restarting things, examine your motivation, and be ready for things to kind of be repeated, right? Because that's the nature of Mercury retrograde. Needing to clarify a relationship and perhaps figure out whether you are aligned with your partner, whether you have the same values could be important. It's also a place of creativity. So initially you may feel a lack of spark, a lack of inspiration. I always advise for this transit to look back, to become a child again. Look at the things that brought you joy when you were small. Maybe even ruffle through your childhood pictures. You never know what can get you inspired. Going outside, enjoying the beautiful spring weather. If you are in the northern hemisphere, of course. If you are in Australia, you can enjoy your beautiful fall weather. But yeah, like getting inspired by looking back, reviving some of the old projects. Don't be surprised if you need to redo some paperwork connected to your child, some writing project. But I think the big question is here, like, is there enough joy in your life? Are you letting yourself have fun? And if not, how can you bring more excitement in? Let the excitement knock on your door. If you are an Aqua rising, Mercury is retrograding in your 4th house, and you are revisiting your relationship with family. You may be literally going to see family, traveling back. Maybe you're traveling back down, going down memory lane where you're feeling more introspective and reflective and looking at your childhood. Family members can be knocking on your door, showing up, or even tokens of the past being more visible, signs of the past, kind of signals coming to you, maybe certain past traumas that need to be integrated and processed and released. If you're moving at this time, moving can be more delayed, house renovation projects can be stalled. And the reason is likely that you need to examine what you're actually trying to do and whether you're still on board with it. I would watch out moving at this time, or at least make sure you have everything kind of arranged and everything planned out. Get some extra light bulbs, get some extra cleaning tools to be ready. And could be a great chance also to look at whether your home feels comfortable. And if it doesn't, maybe you can make small adjustments. It could be talking to your roommates. It could be buying house plants, getting yourself flowers, putting up decorations, whatever you can do to make your home homier or to make your home more comfortable for yourself. Could be a good time to do that. Finally, if you are a Pisces rising, Mercury is retrograding in your third house. Third house is the place of your everyday life. The phone calls you make, the people you see, your siblings, your communication, your skills, hobbies, business, tech, short trips, etc. So Mercury is quite, when it's direct, it's quite at ease here. It speeds up your life. It means you're talking to more people, you're interacting more, maybe you're texting more, you're learning more. When Mercury goes retrograde, all of that slows down. So you may experience delays when it comes to short trips. You may experience more miscommunications. You may experience more tech breaking down. And by tech, that could even be your car, right? Delays in your everyday life are likely, and calling you to kind of review the tools you use and review the relationships you have with your siblings or people in your immediate environment, and see which ones are serving you and which ones need to be upgraded, right? Like maybe your car needs to be serviced, or your computer is old and it's about to die, which is actually the case with me. Wish me luck. I want it to work a little bit longer. By the time I get to Pisces, I need to drink a lot more water, so thank you for being patient with me. But yeah, like you know, third house deals with tech, so needing to revisit tech. It deals with writing. Maybe you're lifting up some past projects. It's your skills and hobbies. So you're maybe revisiting some past kind of business ideas and taking them for another run. Yeah, like having some important conversations, because miscommunications are more likely. And questioning whether you feel happy with your everyday life and how you can make it more enjoyable. It's Mercury in Taurus, right? So you likely enjoy your neighborhood. You enjoy walking around and talking to strangers. So Mercury being retrograde here is a sign that if that joy was missing, you're called to try and rediscover it. And it could be by taking up singing. It could be by taking up journaling, writing, or exploring things that are actually making you happy and bringing them back into your life. This is it. Mercury retrograde is nothing to fear. As we know, it's something familiar to all of us. We have them 3, sometimes 4 times a year. So good times. Use this opportunity to chill out and ask some important questions. Don't be hard on yourself. Don't be hard on Mercury. Remember that he's here to help you.